Chapter 1. Michael leaned in close, a conspiratorial glint in his eyes, and whispered that Jack was planning to propose. We've known each other for 25 years and have been dating for 5. Our parents had been urging us endlessly, and at last I was on the brink of that special day. I got my hair styled early and bought a new outfit. At home, I rehearsed countless times for the moment of the proposal, practicing my expressions and reactions. I felt prepared for anything. All that was left was the actual proposal. On my birthday of all days. Jack, usually so carefree, was surprisingly serious, dressed in a sharp suit. He approached me holding 99 fiery red roses, his gaze soft enough to drown in. Proposal. 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 Michael shouted, cheering the loudest. I looked up at Jack, my face flushed and my heart racing with anticipation. My friends nudged me forward. I lunged at him, ready to fall into his arms, but at the last moment he sidestepped, leaving me to stagger and nearly crash to the ground. Luckily, Michael was quick enough to catch me. Confused, I stared at Jack. What does this mean? To my shock, Jack didn't even glance my way. Instead, he walked right past me. He gently took the hand of the girl in the white dress who had been standing beside me. Kneeling, he reverently kissed her foot. My one and only princess, will you marry me? The astonished stares felt like daggers and murmurs erupted around me. Wasn't today supposed to be Susan's day? What's going on? I thought they'd been dating for 5 years. How could Jack just propose to someone else? What's happening? Should we stay or leave? All color drained from my face, and I felt as if I'd plunged into an icy abyss, shaking uncontrollably. Because the girl Jack was proposing to was my best friend, Linda. I had invited her today to witness my big moment. Just before we left, I had even joked about how she was dressed more formally than I was. She had smiled and said she wanted to make me proud. I never imagined this was her way of doing it. Linda glanced at me, panic in her eyes, but there was a fleeting glimmer of triumph there too. Susan, I'm so sorry. I didn't know Jack would. Since when were they so close? I stared at her, a bitter lump in my throat. When did you two start this? Her eyes welled with tears and she glanced nervously at Jack. Jack, looking distressed, rushed to embrace her, turning to shout at me. Susan, stop being so harsh. We're a legitimate couple. We've been together for 2 years. The absurdity of it all struck me like a punchline to a cruel joke. My boyfriend had secretly been dating my best friend for 2 years, and I hadn't noticed a thing. It was almost laughable. Tears streamed down my face as I laughed. If she's your girlfriend, then what am I? What do our 5 years mean? He looked impatient. I've always seen you as a buddy. Shouldn't you be happy for me? Even Michael, who had been standing beside me, couldn't take it anymore. He grabbed Jack and punched him hard. Jack, what the hell are you talking about? A buddy? This is what real friendship looks like. I've never seen someone justify cheating so smoothly. You're unbelievable. Michael, are you out of your mind? You're supposed to be my friend. Why aren't you supporting me? Jack protested. Support you? No way. From now on, I don't consider you a friend. Michael replied, delivering another blow to Jack. Jack turned around and jumped into the chaos. The room filled with screams and the noise of people trying to separate them. Linda gripped my hand tightly, her nails digging into my skin. Susan, please. You have to stop them. Jack will get hurt. I jerked my hand away. She stumbled back, colliding with a table and sending glasses crashing to the floor. As the sound of shattering glass echoed, I watched helplessly as Linda's white dress got soaked with beer, staining it yellow. The liquid dripped slowly from her hair. She trembled, looking fragile and pitiable. The fighting finally paused at the commotion. Jack rushed over, pushing me aside as he enveloped Linda in his arms, his face etched with a panic I had never seen before. Linda, are you okay? She shook her head, tears streaming down her face. She clung to Jack, her voice choked with sorrow. Jack, we should break up. Susan is my best friend. I can't hurt her. Jack's expression darkened and he yelled at me. Susan, why do you have to make this a scene? Can't you let us be happy? Michael, ready to jump in again, was held back by me. I grabbed a nearby beer bottle and poured it over Linda's head. The cold liquid soaked her, and without a second thought, Jack slapped me across the face. Smack. The room fell silent. Everyone stared in shock. Jack stood frozen, staring at his hand, his expression turning conflicted. Susan, you started this. Apologize to Linda, he demanded. I spoke slowly and deliberately. What if I don't? His eyes turned cold. Then we're done. I don't consider you a friend anymore. Michael, with tears in his eyes, was ready to charge at Jack again. Jack, are you even a man? Hitting a woman? I interjected sharply. Michael, this is between him and me. Michael looked hurt as he gazed at me. Susan, are you out of your mind? He hit you and you're defending him. I met his gaze with unwavering resolve. He raked a hand through his hair in frustration. Fine. Do what you want. It's none of my business. Yet he stayed by my side, watching Jack cautiously, ready to step in if needed. I raised my chin defiantly. Friend? A good friend of 5 years? Bestie? A friend who steals my boyfriend. You two deserve each other. Just looking at you makes me feel dirty. With all my strength, I slapped Jack again. This is for everything. Then I grabbed Michael and walked away. Behind us, Jack shouted angrily. Susan, you'll regret this. If you don't apologize today, you'll never get the chance. On the way out, Michael looked at me warily. Hey Susan, are you okay? Is it worth crying over that jerk? I shot him a glare, my lips trembling. You're friends with that jerk too, you're no better. He sighed and pointed at my face. That must hurt, huh? Suddenly, I crumbled, crouching down and sobbing uncontrollably. It really hurt. My heart felt like it had been ripped open, leaving an empty void. Michael panicked, crouching beside me. He pulled a pack of tissues from his pocket and handed them to me. Hey, don't cry. If you didn't cry before, don't start now. People might think I bullied you. I cried so hard it felt like the world was ending. I sobbed until I started hiccuping, unable to stop. Finally, I lifted my head. People passing by pointed at Michael and he looked increasingly anxious. The absurdity of the scene struck me and I burst into laughter. My laughter made Michael jump back, wide-eyed with fear. Susan, you might as well keep crying. Your laughter is terrifying. I wiped my face with a tissue and in a hoarse voice said, Let's go to your place. Chapter 3. Michael was startled, rising to his feet abruptly. His ears flushed a deep red as he spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. Susan, I know you're heartbroken, but I'm not that kind of guy. I'm genuinely scared. I rolled my eyes at him. Just say yes or no. If you don't want to, I'll find someone else. He reached out and grasped my hand. Though his face was as red as an apple, his tone was resolute. Let's go. If I really let go, I won't consider myself a man. Michael's apartment was immaculate. There were very few belongings, making the place feel almost empty. It was so clean it seemed like no one had ever lived there. I joked, Is this your secret hideout? He handed me a pair of slippers, a hint of bitterness in his voice. I don't have Jack's luck with someone cleaning up after him. I have to fend for myself, so naturally I buy less. As soon as he said this, we both fell silent. He looked at me, regret etched on his face. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I had been with Jack for 5 years. He claimed he wanted to see me whenever he could, so I moved from the east side of town to the west into his place. Even though it was 30 kilometers from my office, making my daily commute feel like a trek. I did it willingly because I felt needed. Jack had a habit of leaving his things scattered everywhere. I would follow him around, cleaning up the mess. He had a sensitive stomach. I, who once couldn't tell the difference between scallions and garlic, learned an entire repertoire of recipes for digestive health. For 5 years, I cared for him like a devoted partner, attending to every detail. Even his underwear was washed by my hands. He once held me tightly, saying I'd spoil him, that he couldn't live without me and wanted me by his side forever. But now he claimed I was just a friend. To hell with being just a friend. I sprawled out on the bed in a starfish position. Michael stood at the door, looking at me with a wounded expression. Even if you take a step back, can't you consider me? He said earnestly. I'm quite capable, really. Just give it a try. I tossed the pillow beside me at him. I'm going to sleep. He caught the pillow and lit a scented candle from the cabinet. The door closed softly and the room filled with the fragrance of gardenias. It was my favorite scent, which Jack despised. Because he didn't like it, I hadn't smelled that aroma in ages. It was a nostalgic reminder of better times. Thanks to this familiar scent, I slept until noon. Michael walked me downstairs, checking in repeatedly. Are you sure you don't need me to come up with you? What if Jack, that jerk, tries to hit you again? I showed him my phone. Linda had posted on social media late last night, showing Jack sleeping soundly, their hands intertwined, a sparkling ring on her finger. Don't worry, he's not home. Indeed, the place was empty. I quickly packed my belongings. Just as I was about to leave, I bumped directly into Jack's chest. He stared at me, his eyes full of mockery. Susan, what's going on? Are you running away this time? I pushed him away without a word. He pulled me into his arms, his smile smug. Come on, stop being stubborn. Help me out here. I'm about to go crazy. I wriggled free from his embrace, calmly asking, What? Wasn't Linda enough for you last night? His eyes sparkled with arrogance. Susan, I knew you were jealous. Linda isn't like you, she's not an easy woman. I promised her we'd wait until after marriage. Last night we just slept together. I almost died from holding back. For now you'll just have to make do. But remember, after we get married, I'll have to be faithful. Chapter 4. He slowly bent down, inching closer to me with each step. In that moment, I suddenly recognized the true face of the man before me. All the emotional investment over the years felt like nothing more than a self-directed joke. My stomach churned violently, and before I knew it, I had vomited all my breakfast onto Jack. He recoiled in shock, his eyes filled with disgust. Hey Susan, how could you be so disgusting? I fixed him with a cold stare, desperately trying to suppress the bitterness rising in my throat. Jack, who here is truly disgusting? I can only blame myself for being blind, not realizing the difference between a human and a dog all these years. Don't ever come near me again. Just looking at you makes me want to vomit. I grabbed my bag and hurried past him. His face turned a shade of livid and he shouted after me. Susan, have you gotten bold? If you walk out that door today, don't ever think about coming back. In the past, every argument ended with me compromising. Over time, he took that for granted, believing he could always manipulate me. But this time I chose not to look back. Jack, you underestimated my self-respect. Without hesitation, I pressed the elevator button and descended. From a distance, leaning against a car, was Michael. His eyes lit up when he saw me and he strode over eagerly. Suddenly, I was yanked back by a pair of hands. It was Jack. He had changed clothes, but a faint sour odor still lingered around him. He leaned in close, panting in my ear, his voice tinged with urgency. Damn it, Susan, I'll let you off this time, but you need to help me. I'm in a lot of pain. Before he could finish, I kneed him hard in the groin. It was already swollen. Now it was just adding insult to injury. Ugh. He doubled over, clutching his lower body, gasping on the ground. Michael approached, wrapping an arm around my waist. Sweetheart, all settled? Let's go to the supermarket and buy some groceries to lift your spirits. Jack's face darkened, turning an alarming shade of green with rage. He pointed furiously at Michael. I considered you a brother and you go behind my back? I always thought you were acting strange. When did you two get together? Michael chuckled softly. He leaned in, gently kissing my cheek. Dude, she smells incredible. Jack, still wincing from the pain, struggled to his feet, his chest heaving as if he might explode. You too. I stood on tiptoe, wrapping my arms around Michael's neck and kissing him back. Bro, you smell amazing too. Jack howled in frustration. Get away from each other. Susan, I forbid you to be with other men like this. I smiled at him mockingly. Jack, guess where I spent the night last night? Then I took Michael's hand and walked away without looking back, leaving behind a seething Jack. Back in the car, I couldn't hold back the tears any longer, covering my face as I cried. Michael regarded me with a complex gaze. Do you really love him that much? I nodded at first, then shook my head. Everyone knew Susan loved Jack deeply. But the Jack I loved was not the man he had become. I loved the Jack who always stood up for me when I was bullied or ostracized. I loved the Jack who held me tightly when my parents died in a car accident, promising to always be there for me. 25 years had made Jack an indispensable part of my life. Yet now he had used the worst possible means to destroy my love, ripping it cruelly from my existence. Michael sighed and pulled me into his embrace. His warmth felt like spring, with a faint scent of gardenias that brought me peace. He gently patted my back, soothing me like a child. Cry it out and then start anew. Chapter 5. I submitted my resignation to the company, officially saying goodbye. My colleague Linda and I worked at the same place. To be honest, I was utterly fed up with that nauseating job. Our director tried his best to persuade me to stay, and finally, seeing my determination, he reluctantly asked me to stay for another month. I agreed, albeit reluctantly. I hadn't found a new place yet, and Michael's home was conveniently close to the office. So Michael and I began a temporary cohabitation. I took the master bedroom while he made do with a makeshift bed in the study. Michael turned out to be an exceptional housemate. His daily routine was impressively regular and his cooking skills were top-notch. He prepared 3 meals a day, feeding me on time and making me pleasantly plump. Meanwhile, Jack had been acting out of character, flaunting his new relationship all over social media. I couldn't care less about his antics. I deleted and blocked him without a second thought. Just 5 minutes after I pressed delete, his call came through. Initially, I considered blocking him completely, but then I realized some matters needed to be clarified. So I picked up the phone. His self-absorbed tone rolled on, leaving no room for interruption. "Susan, you still have feelings for me, huh? Answering my call so quickly. I know you saw my posts and felt uneasy. How about this? I'll give you another chance. Come over now and I'll sleep with you. But you can't tell Linda, okay? It'll be our little secret. How's that? Exciting, isn't it?" I rolled my eyes, ready to unleash my frustration. Just then, a voice called from the living room. "Sweetheart, come wash your hands and get ready for dinner." The voice was louder than usual, enough for him to hear it clearly. "Susan, where are you? Are you really into Michael? Can't live without a man, huh? Come back right now or I'll never talk to you again." I shot him a cold look, my tone dripping with disdain. "Jack, this is the last time I'm telling you, we're done. Stop playing these childish games and leave me alone. Goodbye." I hung up and blocked his number. Feeling lighter, I took my seat at the dinner table. Just as I was about to savor a bite of Kung Pao chicken, Michael quipped mockingly, "I'll never speak to you again." Silently, I redirected the Kung Pao chicken towards his mouth. "Eat up, sweetheart." Half an hour later, there was a loud banging on the door. Michael opened it. Without hesitation, Jack swung a punch. "Damn, you really are sleeping together. You know, I'm already over her." Michael kicked him away. He crashed to the ground, still hurling insults. "Susan, tell him how many times we've been together. From the kitchen to the balcony, from the bedroom to the living room." "Michael, I didn't expect you to be interested in leftovers. Need me to remind you of her sensitive spots?" Anger surged within me like a volcanic eruption. Humiliation flooded over me, causing my body to tremble with rage. I kicked him with all my strength. Again and again, each kick fueled by my fury. Jack attempted to fight back, but Michael restrained him tightly. Only when Jack was bruised and gasping for breath on the ground did Michael finally let go, pulling me close. He looked down at Jack with a hint of mock sympathy. "Jack, you should get that treated. Luckily I'm your buddy, or everyone would know about your little problem. I don't care how many men Susan had before. As long as she likes me, that's my blessing. Thanks to you, buddy, Susan is quite satisfied with me. Comparison really reveals the truth. No wonder Susan always complained. Now she can finally enjoy something good. Poor girl, what has she eaten these past 5 years? Susan, as long as I'm around, I'll make sure you have plenty of delicious food, never letting you go hungry." Hearing this, I couldn't help but laugh. This guy, let's hope he's really talking about cooking. Chapter 6. Jack's face changed color faster than flipping a page, like a dramatic face change performance. It was truly spectacular. The veins on his forehead bulged, and his eyes were wide with anger, as if he could devour someone the next second. He was so furious that he could barely speak. You too." Michael, without a word, kicked him out the door and slammed it shut with a loud bang. "Ah!" Jack screamed in pain. Michael muttered as he frowned. "Weird, why doesn't this door close properly?" He pushed the door again forcefully. "My hand." "Ah." Michael calmly opened the door again, unhurriedly. "Oh, sorry, didn't notice your hand was still caught in the door." He disdainfully moved Jack's swollen fingers out of the way. Then he smiled sweetly and said, "But you should thank me. It'll be hard for your hand to get this strong again." Jack was in so much pain that his face turned pale, sweat beading on his forehead. He glared at Michael furiously. His lips quivered nonstop. He was in such pain that he couldn't even make a sound. Michael, with a cheeky grin, shut the door again with a loud bang. I gave him a thumbs up. This guy, he really knows how to push buttons. Maybe the shock from last time was too much. Jack started to try to win me back. Every morning and evening he would text me asking if I had eaten and how I was doing. He even waited downstairs at Michael's place holding flowers. Susan, I know I was wrong. Now I realize I have feelings for you. Will you come back? If you come back, I'll consider breaking up with Linda. After all these years, I can't live without you. I ignored all of these. He even tried to play the pity card to soften my heart. Susan, my stomach is acting up again. The doctor says it's because I've been drinking too much and now have ulcers. But whenever I don't drink, I can't stop thinking about you. What should I do? Is it too late to regret now? Susan, the house feels so empty without you. I miss your sweet and sour ribs. Will you come back? I really know I was wrong. Susan, let's get married and have 2 kids, one that looks like you and one like me. Every day reading these messages, I found them amusing. Lately, Michael was also mimicking in a mocking tone. Michigan, my life can't go on without you. I couldn't take it anymore. I forwarded all the messages to Linda. Linda replied instantly. Susan, what do you mean? Are you looking for a fight? Michael grabbed my phone and sent a message. Miss Lynn, please keep an eye on your boyfriend. Don't let him harass my girlfriend or I won't mind teaching him a lesson. I looked at Michael in surprise. Who said I was your girlfriend? He got anxious. You've eaten so many meals I've cooked. Shouldn't you show some appreciation? Are you still thinking about Jack? Let me tell you, a leopard never changes its spots. Don't be fooled by a few sweet words. He's not a good person. I raised an eyebrow. And you're a good person? Did you get close to Jack just to chase me? He looked at me pitifully. You knew. I didn't know before. It was Jack who told me. He said Michael approached me with ulterior motives. I then found his secret account on social media and discovered his secrets. I found my goddess, but she already has a boyfriend. What should I do? Her boyfriend is such a jerk. I saw him kissing another woman. It's disgusting. No way, my goddess needs me to protect her. Guys, I've infiltrated the enemy's camp. Now I'm a friend of the goddess's boyfriend, which means I'm practically her boyfriend too, right? Someone above says, isn't a male friend technically a boyfriend? I don't care what you say, you're just jealous. Her boyfriend is a jerk, ordering the goddess around in front of everyone. I beat him up in the bathroom when he was drunk and told him he fell. He didn't even suspect. But it worried the goddess. The goddess finally noticed me. I got her WeChat. I subtly hinted that her boyfriend was up to no good, but she didn't realize. After that, he didn't update for 3 months. People in the comments kept asking for updates. The goddess is getting engaged. I have no hope left. I wish her well. A few days later, he became active again. Chapter 6. Jack's face turned even more grim, like a thunderstorm about to break. He was so angry that his voice trembled. You guys. Michael, without another word, kicked him out the door and slammed it shut with a bang. Ah! Jack screamed in pain. Michael muttered as he frowned. Weird, why doesn't this door close properly? He pushed the door again forcefully. By hand. Ah! Michael calmly opened the door again, unhurriedly. Oh, sorry, didn't notice your hand was still caught in the door. He disdainfully moved Jack's swollen fingers out of the way. Then he smiled sweetly and said, But you should thank me. It'll be hard for your hand to get this strong again. Jack was in so much pain that his face turned pale, sweat beading on his forehead. He glared at Michael furiously. His lips quivered nonstop. He was in such pain that he couldn't even make a sound. Michael, with a cheeky grin, shut the door again with a loud bang. I gave him a thumbs up. This guy, he really knows how to push buttons. Maybe the shock from last time was too much. Jack started to try to win me back. Every morning and evening he would text me asking if I had eaten and how I was doing. He even waited downstairs at Michael's place holding flowers. Susan, I know I was wrong. Now I realize I have feelings for you. Will you come back? If you come back, I'll consider breaking up with Linda. After all these years, I can't live without you. I ignored all of these. He even tried to play the pity card to soften my heart. Susan, my stomach is acting up again. The doctor says it's because I've been drinking too much and now have ulcers. But whenever I don't drink, I can't stop thinking about you. What should I do? Is it too late to regret now? Susan, the house feels so empty without you. I miss your sweet and sour ribs. Will you come back? I really know I was wrong. Susan, let's get married and have 2 kids, one that looks like you and one like me. Every day reading these messages, I found them amusing. Lately, Michael was also mimicking in a mocking tone. Michigan, my life can't go on without you. I couldn't take it anymore. I forwarded all the messages to Linda. Linda replied instantly. Susan, what do you mean? Are you looking for a fight? Michael grabbed my phone and sent a message. Miss Lynn, please keep an eye on your boyfriend. Don't let him harass my girlfriend or I won't mind teaching him a lesson. I looked at Michael in surprise. Who said I was your girlfriend? He got anxious. You've eaten so many meals I've cooked. Shouldn't you show some appreciation? Are you still thinking about Jack? Let me tell you, a leopard never changes its spots. Don't be fooled by a few sweet words. He's not a good person. I raised an eyebrow. And you're a good person? Did you get close to Jack just to chase me? He looked at me pitifully. You knew. I didn't know before. It was Jack who told me. He said Michael approached me with ulterior motives. I then found his secret account on social media and discovered his secrets. I found my goddess, but she already has a boyfriend. What should I do? Her boyfriend is such a jerk. I saw him kissing another woman. It's disgusting. No way, my goddess needs me to protect her. Guys, I've infiltrated the enemy's camp. Now I'm a friend of the goddess's boyfriend, which means I'm practically her boyfriend too, right? Someone above says, isn't a male friend technically a boyfriend? I don't care what you say, you're just jealous. Her boyfriend is a jerk, ordering the goddess around in front of everyone. I beat him up in the bathroom when he was drunk and told him he fell. He didn't even suspect. But it worried the goddess. The goddess finally noticed me. I got her WeChat. Yeah. I subtly hinted that her boyfriend was up to no good, but she didn't realize. After that, he didn't update for 3 months. People in the comments kept asking for updates. The goddess is getting engaged. I have no hope left. I wish her well. A few days later, he became active again. Chapter 7. For the sake of avoiding trouble for the company, I pulled Linda aside and walked out of the office building, heading to an empty park to wait for Jack to arrive. Linda's righteous colleagues also followed us downstairs, along with some concerned onlookers, forming a crowd behind her like a wave. I was surrounded by a large group of people with cameras pointed at me, feeling like the center of attention. Because my role as the evil mistress was so convincing, I quickly became a local trending topic. I interacted politely in the live stream, but the self-proclaimed righteous voices around me were relentless with their insults. The more polite I was, the harsher their words became. Just as their voices were about to give out, Jack finally appeared. He had put on a suit and held a bouquet of red roses, kneeling before me with eyes full of emotion. Susan, thank you for giving me a chance. I will spend my life loving you. I slowly took the rose and opened the box with a prominent ring inside. The diamond was large and dazzling, enough to make Linda's eyes tear up. Finally, she couldn't hold back and rushed over. Jack, do you still have feelings for me? I'm your fiancée, pregnant with your child, and you proposed to another woman in front of me? I responded, indeed, loyalty is the best gift a man can offer, and I don't want to be with someone unclear about their feelings. You're better off with Linda. Linda slapped me across the face. Susan, stop with the sarcastic remarks. You shameless woman. I was stunned, thinking one slap wasn't enough, there was more to come. Just as I was about to retaliate, smack! Jack returned the slap to Linda, the force making her stagger back, her face quickly swelling, a trickle of blood at the corner of her mouth. She clutched her face, looking at Jack in disbelief, seemingly on the verge of collapse. Jack's face was dark, his eyes full of disdain. Who do you think you are, hitting her? Linda's eyes filled with tears, her voice trembling. Jack, how can you treat me like this? You said you'd love me forever and now you hit me for her? She has been with someone else and you still care about her. Jack, I love you the most. I have only ever been with you. I've given you my most precious gift. She cried pitifully, clutching Jack's arm, hoping he would soften. I shook my head slightly. Linda still didn't understand Jack. Chapter 8. Jack prides himself on being deeply affectionate, but in reality his heart is colder than anyone's. When he loves, you can do no wrong. When he doesn't, you are nothing. As I expected, Jack pushed Linda away forcefully, his voice icy and his words cutting. Linda, we're done. Stop clinging to me. My heart only belongs to Susan. Besides, it was just that one drunken mistake. Who knows if the kid is even mine? You pretended to be so pure waiting until marriage, but then you threw yourself at me. If it weren't for your deliberate seduction, I would never have betrayed Susan. You intruded on our 5-year relationship, and now you have the nerve to call her the other woman? It's laughable. Linda screamed, Jack, you're a bastard. I gave you everything and this is how you repay me? You told me Susan meant nothing to you and that you wanted to break up with her for me. You said I brought color back into your dull life and made you believe in love again. You were the one who came on to me. I even tried to push you away. You said Susan couldn't hold a candle to me. You promised to dump her and marry me, so I agreed to be with you. Jack's face twisted with irritation and he threw a wad of cash at her feet. Linda, stop making a scene. It's embarrassing. Here's 10 grand, enough for you to take care of things. Don't let me see you again. Susan and I are getting married soon. Linda, nearly losing her mind with rage, lunged at him, her nails aiming for his face. You think you can get rid of me with 10 grand? Not a chance. You'll never be rid of me. Jack, his patience finally snapping, shoved her hard. Linda, unprepared, fell backward, hitting the ground with a thud. She screamed in pain, clutching her stomach instinctively. Blood began to pool beneath her, staining the ground. Panic erupted around us. I shouted, call an ambulance. Finally, someone snapped out of their stupor and rushed to find a phone. Jack, watching this unfold, was momentarily stunned but quickly regained his cold demeanor. His eyes were filled with disdain as he looked down at Linda. You brought this on yourself. That child shouldn't have existed in the first place. It's better this way. There was no hint of remorse in his voice. Linda lay on the cold ground, her eyes blank, blood continuing to flow from her. She kept muttering, my baby, my baby. I turned and called the police. In the end, Linda lost the baby. Due to severe uterine bleeding, it would be very difficult for her to conceive again in the future. Jack was detained for intentional harm. Just when I thought Linda would finally see the light, she surprised me by issuing a statement of forgiveness. It turned out Jack's father had intervened, forcing Jack to marry her. Some people just never learn. When I heard the news, I could only sigh. Love can truly blind people. Later, I received a message from Jack. Susan, I'm sorry. I missed my chance with you. My dad is forcing me to marry Linda or he will cut me off. I have no choice, but please believe me, my heart belongs only to you. I will never touch her. I replied, what a coincidence, I'm getting married too and I love my fiancé very much. Stop thinking about me. Being pined after by someone like you is disgusting. Then I blocked him. I put down my phone and cuddled up to Michael. Michael, when will you officially make me your wife? His eyes lit up with joy as he swept me into his arms and carried me to the bedroom. Later, friends told me the story continued. Linda lost her job and was harassed online by angry netizens. After all, her image as a willing participant in the affair was well established. Whenever she tried to play the victim, she was met with ridicule and criticism, told she deserved it. Over time, she stopped appearing in public, becoming a full-time housewife. As for Jack, he drank heavily to numb the pain, taking out his frustrations on Linda when drunk. I heard they now argue constantly, living a life of chaos. As for me, having left behind all the drama, the future can only get brighter.